Good everyone, welcome to this video, and today it's a Spade review on the M19 anti-aircraft vehicle. Now, I'll be truthfully honest, there is going to be quite a few anti-aircraft Spades coming up because I've had this, and I've had the ZSU 37, and obviously I've done the Crusader Mark 1 AA already. And to be honest, I've actually had quite a bit of fun in them for the most part. The one I'm not a big fan of is the ZSU, but I'll come around to that when I do that review. But I really like the M19. This thing is actually really, really good. There are a few weaknesses which, to be honest, plague most SPAA, but this one is no exception. So obviously, with it being an anti-aircraft vehicle, it needs to have some firepower to down aircraft. And well, we don't just have one Bofors cannon, we have two. And oh my god, this is awesome. These guns are absolutely brilliant. If you hit a plane, chances are it's going to be dead in the first shot, and if it's not, it's going to be dead in the second. It is just an absolute beast of an anti-aircraft vehicle. It's a hard aircraft or anti-aircraft to aim, yes, but once you get used to it, it is really good. It honestly is probably one of the best anti-aircraft vehicles. Now, it does have obviously some weaknesses, which we're going to cover. You may notice the chassis looks very familiar to some players, and this is actually based off the M24 chassis. Now, unfortunately, with the actual chassis, I believe this was actually based off the M24. I think it said A1 from a source I found. I don't bloody know. But from what I've been able to find, this thing obviously had weaker armor, and well, soon enough the M19 was just phased out of service in favor of Dusters, the M42. But obviously, with it being an anti-aircraft vehicle, it's going to have some weaknesses, and well, the armor is only half an inch thick. At 12.7mm, you'll be lucky to stop most machine gun rounds at your BR, let alone an anti-tank round. To be fair though, like, I've not been hull broke as much in this thing. I think I've only been hull broke once, and even then it was a load of bullshit where it hit the gun barrels on top, which I don't understand how that works, but even so. This thing's got a very trollish hull break mechanic. Like, you shoot the front hull, and it doesn't seem to hull break it all the time. You shoot the engine, does the same. The only time it's a guaranteed hull break is if they hit the breach, which is weird. It's a bit of a bugged damage model, but hey, it's Gaijin, they always find some way of fucking it up. So, obviously with it being an anti-aircraft vehicle, it's got to have that ammunition somewhere, and well, it's only protected by, once again, half an inch. And it's all around here. It's like a ring, and then obviously you got the ammunition that actually goes into the breaches. Like I say, it's got good capability, this thing does. You just got to make sure you don't get hit. And obviously the gun shield doesn't actually protect the two loaders very well. So just bear that in mind. You don't want to get shot in your loaders. Gunner sits on the right, so if you're going to take out this thing, go for the right hand side and then go for the hull. And then if it's not dead after that, just MG the poor sod who sits up there. But obviously, mobility, being on a light tank chassis, it's pretty fast. I do have to say that, and obviously because it's on a chassis, and it's got less weight than a chassis, well, it certainly feels like it, this thing accelerates nicely, and it's got a 14 miles per hour reverse speed, and it can get there pretty quickly. But anyway, let's jump into the battle, and let's have a look at the actual AA vehicle itself. Now, I've got a subscriber replay sent in by Wicked Willy Wonka. He's finally back, so that's always nice to see. And sorry about that, just a bit of a dry throat this morning. We've also got the ZSU 37 coming up. I've not finished it yet. I think I've got 4 or 5 mods left on it. At this current time, obviously, once I get it spaded, I'll get the recording done as soon as possible. But like I say, I liked it, and well, I liked this M19. It's just I'm not a fan of the ZSU. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, let's begin. Obviously, straight off the bat, we're going for the capture zone. This is Advanced to the Rhine, one of my favourite maps. Not for anti-aircraft, I mean, It could be better for anti-aircraft. Don't know how high explosive round did not blow the hell off that sign, but whatever. Now we've got quite a few teammates coming into the, or approaching the capture zone here. So I thought, well, people are going to make it into the cap. The jumbos need it more. I'll just go straight in. And even then, if I wanted to stop, the brakes are terrible on this thing when they're not upgraded. I don't think they change much when you get them upgraded anyway. This was the final match to Spade it. So, for some weird reason, whenever I spade a vehicle, I seem to get the best game out of it. And whilst this wasn't the best game, my best game was 8 kills. 5 aircraft, 3 grand. But I still had a lot of fun playing this anti-aircraft vehicle. It just felt nice to play. At this point, I led the AP rounds. Obviously, you have to fire both guns, so if your guns go out of sync, which this thing does do when it fires, because I have heard it's a bit of a bug with the actual vehicle. And I don't know why that jumbo just pumped a load of rounds into me, like, what's the point? So I start backing up. Obviously you can see the reverse speed working like a charm here. It's got me out of several situations. I needed to switch back to HE anyway, so I thought I'll just shoot that retard back. And then I thought, hold on a minute, this is actually a pretty good spot for me. Obviously, because I'm in an anti-aircraft, this map's not the best for anti-aircraft. And obviously we've got a capture zone under our belt, so we're just going to sit here and have a good look around. Because the aircraft spawn appears around about here, so we've got a good, shall we say, view of the battlefield here. I've never really liked advanced to the right for anti-aircraft, tank destroyers and things like that. I mean, if you go along the C or the D10 line, or people just refer to it as the 10 line, you do get good action there in a tank destroyer, but you need an armoured tank destroyer to do it. You can't do it in a light tank destroyer, you will get slaughtered. Heavy tanks can work decently down that road as well. But in terms of ammunition capacity, you certainly get a lot more than the Crusader AA, which is handy. And obviously with having 2 Bofors guns, this thing can spit out fire much faster. But obviously since this is going to start off a little slow, I'm going to put it to 4 times speed. Now there is a guy in chat who's going to moan about the game and all that. I don't know why. He wasn't exactly pulling his weight. And here comes an A6M0 and a Tu-2S bomber. Now the Zero is much harder to hit due to it being quite small. So I'm rattling the guns off here, and to be honest, it's a lot harder to hit a Zero than what you might think. Also, because the Zero is so small and easily able to dodge your shells pretty well, it is quite a hard plane to hit. But a Tu-2S, Now what you've got to remember is you've got to account for lead. You can't just look at a target and just fire on it. That's not how the Bofors guns work. You have to give a bit of lead. And it can be hard to get used to. But if you hit anything with a shell, it's going to regret it. I was actually very close to hitting that Zero. If I'd have let it just a little bit more, I'd have been okay. So here comes the Tu-2S going in for another bomb run. And I actually crit his elevator there, and he just goes straight in the dirt. So that's my first kill. I wasn't expecting that final burst to hit, but even so, I will take it any day of the week. I must say, I've really enjoyed going back and spading these anti-aircraft vehicles. Because normally I would just skip things like this because of the low rate of fire, but now that I'm so used to it, I've had a lot of fun, and I'm not lying. I really have had a lot of fun, and obviously with the armor piercing rounds being what they are, 71mm, and there you go, second kill. That was a single shot, but obviously it's a Zero. If it gets hit by pretty much anything, it's dead. And it was a lot of fun to go back and spade these. Obviously, I preferred the M19 over the ZSU, and I'll cover the ZSU, as I said, in its review, which it is a good vehicle. It can work, and I find myself going more tank buster in that than I do this, even though they've got the same pen, unless you count the HVAC round, which I don't think is even that good, personally. But it just went from there, really. Like, the M19 felt better to drive, felt better in reverse, obviously by miles. Obviously at that point I was just turning on my Spotify, so I was just not focusing at all. But if a Bofors gun could do that to a P47, think of it what it could do to something like a T2S if it hit properly. Third kill. It just blew the P47 to bits, and honestly, these guns are perfect for doing that job. Right as I type in chat, skies are clear. A Focke-Wulf 190 decided to spawn in. This Creeper 1553, he appeared in quite a few of my games, to be honest. Seemed a good player, like I say, he had good games whenever I saw him. I think he was spading at the time, so good on you, mate. But I saw this guy a lot, and I think he met the end of my both his guns one too many times. Scorpion and me are going to have a good conversation in chat later on. And I'm trying to remember who was going off in chat. I think it was Phantom Warlock who goes off later. At this point I started moving forward so I could intercept the Focke-Wulf, but then I realised, oh, where's he gone? And he's over there. He's actually gone just past where I was going to. But obviously B is being captured at the moment by a Panther. So I thought, obviously I didn't know it was a Panther at the time, but I made a hole in the left wing joke because he said about his wing and all that. But at this point, I loaded the armor piercing rounds. P47 just came in there and fired his rockets. Now, most people are going to complain at this point, why didn't you shoot the Focke-Wulf 190? I did, it's just these guns are not stabilised, and I'm firing armor piercing. At this point, I was looking around and then I realised, oh hello, Panther! Panther kill. First tank kill, and only tank kill of this game. Switch back to the HE rounds. And I'm bleeding just a bit too much, and obviously I'm trying to turn. And I did get that kill, if I remember rightly from that. Yes, I did. It's just the server replay was a bit far behind. Well, the replay was a bit far behind. That's just normal. Second capture, fourth air kill. One ground target, and I believe I get one more kill, if I remember rightly. And Scorpion in chat makes a note of like, never really liked this thing, and I was like, hey, it's a good AA, it really is. I've really enjoyed playing this thing and just doing a bit of stunt driving right there, like out of Midnight Club Los Angeles. If you ever played that game, please do let me know. That was actually quite a good game for its time. Oh, I remember the days of when people used to grind for the Lamborghini Murcielago in that game. I used to have that game on the PlayStation 3 and I really enjoyed it. Anyway, less about my childhood gaming. Here comes this Messerschmitt 410, and here comes Phantom Warlock in the chat, but first, ace in a day on aircraft. Phantom Warlock puts in chat, this War Thunder is boring. And a Scorpion just says, then don't play it, no one told you to play it. I think Phantom Warlock is a child, personally, judging by his responses in chat. And I think Phantom Warlord was his crumb bum or something, I don't know. But I'd just like to point out what they've done for the team. We've got this moron, 1 assist, 1 death. And you've got Mr. Warlock, 2 caps, 2 assists, but he hasn't got any kills. Yeah. But obviously Scorpion now takes his mind off the retards and just says like, I don't get how the M19 works. It does work really nice, and obviously you do need practice with it. You can't just go straight into this thing and start racking up kill tallies like I am. And at this point, Phantom Warlord puts in chat, here's another pep talk from someone. Yawn. And I respond, in a moment, with, here's another pep talk. Shush. Just because I can. And he has the breast balls to basically try and counteract. And to be honest, I don't want to hear his whining, so I just told him to basically shush. And he's not going to like that. And you can tell by his responses that he clearly is some sort of child or young, shall I say, young individual. I put in chat afterwards, are you retarded? And he did answer, but obviously that answers before the replay ends. And yeah, but that's the end of the game. 2 caps, 5 aircraft kills, and 1 tank kill. That was the end of the Spade, and well, I was very impressed by this vehicle. So let's go over my stats in the vehicle, and obviously, those of you that may remember Voldemort's incident on the channel a couple of weeks ago, he apparently said that the M19 is a load of crap, and I have to heavily disagree. As you can see, 57 air kills, 23 ground targets, and 11 deaths. Most of those were caused by bombs from aircraft, so yeah, that's just natural. Like, even if you do kill an aircraft, chances are it's just going to fire all of its ordnance at you to try and kill you. But that takes up to 80 kills total and 11 deaths, so that's a 7-to-1 kill death ratio. That's better than most of my tanks, to put that in perspective. But otherwise, I really enjoyed playing this anti-aircraft vehicle. Obviously, it does have its weaknesses and everything, like all anti-aircraft. But trust me, the ZSU will be a bit of a worse review, as you may have or you may notice when I actually do it. But even so. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the M19 anti-aircraft, and I will see you all on the next one.